Hello, everyone. My name is Danny. This review is going to be for the movie called Won't You Be My Neighbor? It is a 2018 film rated PG-13. It's directed by Morgan Neville, and it runs about an hour and a half. For over 30 years, Fred Rogers, an unassuming minister, puppeteer, writer, and producer, he was beamed daily into homes across America. In his beloved television program, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Fred and his cast of puppets and friends spoke directly to young children about some of life's weightiest issues in a simple, direct fashion. There hadn't been anything like Mr. Rogers on television before, and there hasn't been since. Well, my first thing to say is that I hate documentaries. I don't know why I watch them. I don't like to watch them. They bore me. They usually don't offer anything of entertainment value. Just a bunch of people sitting around, and then you show some old scenes and stuff of things. And usually documentaries, like strict documentaries, are people with a camera walking around, talking. But this had a lot of stuff from the old show. So I had heard some good things, and I heard how great how well done it was. And so since it had more stuff and scenes, material from the actual show of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, I gave it a shot. So I really don't like documentaries, and I'm just going to let you know right now, I graded this a D because, dumb for documentaries, whatever you want to say. But that's the grade for it. I'm just going to keep this really simple. I cannot believe I was able to watch this show when I was younger. And I don't think anybody else would think about it like the stuff that's in this documentary is what the show used to be. I mean, I talked to my mother about this like 2 days after I watched it, and I asked her, did you know anything about this with the show? She's like, no, it was on public television. It was a kids show. It had characters, we let you guys watch it. It was a kids show. So watching this documentary kind of messed me up, and I just cannot believe I was able to watch it. It has all this brutal information and everything, and some of the things that you find out in this documentary, I really don't think that they needed to make it, and it kind of deters, us from thinking that Mr. Rogers was a nice guy and he had a nice show. And I don't need that in my mind. I don't need that in my life. But, this is what is involved with the documentary. For any of you who want to know, it had a lot of political drive behind it. When something happened, it plugged something into the next episode. It had crazy messages because, like, Mr. Rogers, like, he was driven, to make his show a success, but he was also a pastor. So he kind of talked about what he wanted to talk about, but he also tried to slide hidden messages into the show, or have somebody do something, or have somebody say something that had an alternate meaning. I mean, I never would have thought about that as a kid. My parents would have. I'm sure none of your parents would have. But it really, I don't know who would have realized this back in the day. So now we're just finding out. It talks about divorce in the show. It used to talk about divorce. I can't imagine that or remember it or anything like that. I just remembered it for being a nice show. When there was war striking in the real world, Mr. Rogers identified that as part of the story in the next episode. It's unbelievable. This is real. This is all true. When JFK was assassinated, there was a big thing about what assassination means. They even made up a song. It's like, what the heck? Does anybody remember that from when we were kids? I don't. The whole make-believe thing is great, but they had a message in one of their episodes about make-believe being a mistake or something. It tells kids that, other cartoons weren't good, and it's not like natural, raw, entertainment and like focused make believe. I don't know. It was really weird. They did talk about 9/11 a lot because that was such a big thing, and it drove people, to the brink. When it happened, it all had a big effect on everybody in the country. But I guess Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood wanted to address it in a certain way. I just can't believe they would have put that, as part of their show, as a message or a hidden message or anything. And then the two other big things that I just am shocked about is it talks about how much that Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood talked about death or people dying. And I do kind of remember that. I do remember some serious talks between Mr. Rogers and some of his friendly, people around, or the mailman or something like that. And I do happen to remember the puppets saying something like that. And I know Daniel the Tiger was the main message person of the show, but this really talks about how Mr. Rogers, Fred, used Daniel Tiger to say what he wanted to say, and he let it come out in Daniel Tiger. I mean, it just blows your mind, having somebody explain all this. The last thing was kind of sad to hear, and like I don't even know why they had to put it in a documentary. I don't know why we had to hear about this, but supposedly the mailman on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was gay, and I guess Fred accepted it and said some things and had some actions and had some camera shots about accepting gay people, and like that's how it was taken and that's how it was meant to be taken. And it's like, what? I mean, oh my gosh, like it had to go to that level. So I guess at Fred Rogers' funeral, there was this huge people that were against him. There was a picket line, and so like I guess during his life, people thought Fred Rogers was gay, but he wasn't. But the fact that he accepted gay people, there was people against him in that manner and had to show up at his funeral. It's like, what the heck? Like there's some messed up stuff in this. It's a documentary. It's informative, but it's like it just ruins Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for the most part. I remember it fondly from being a kid and growing up in a Christian household. This was a nice, easy show that didn't show a lot of burping or farting or anything like that. And all those shows coming out, Fred Rogers was against everything. And I just don't understand why we actually have to know this. But I'm just letting you know that's the whole documentary, what I just told you. So you don't really have to watch it. But if you've seen it, you like it, you understand anything else of why it's good, let me know. But I just think these messages are crazy. And it drives me crazy thinking about it. So, like I said at the beginning, I'm giving a D to Won't You Be My Neighbor because I hate documentaries. I can't believe all this stuff is actually true about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but it is. But it was nice seeing some of the stuff, from the old show and everything, and taking a trip down memory lane, I guess. But it's just insanely crazy. I'm not really sure this needed to be made out of respect for how great the show really was. So they only did about two things in the movie to actually show respect to it, and that's how hard he fought to keep public television funded by the government, and how nice he really was on a daily basis. Like that's truly who he was as a person. So that's the only two real nice things, but you couldn't make a whole movie out of that. You had to bring up all this stuff. So thanks a lot, guys. My name's Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and give some of them a watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And enjoy your movies. And keep look out for my best of 2018 coming your way very soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.